Hey folks, shaneeeack here. I'm going to do a build and review of the Hobby Zone Supercub LP. For anybody who has the original Supercub, this is an upgrade. It now has a LiPo battery, 1300 milliamp 3-cell, and a 480 brushed motor for a little bit more power and a much longer flight time. So let's get into it and see what it has in store for us. Alright, here we have our Supercub wing. Decals are already on it, along with our wing spars. Here's our fuselage. Now our receiver, our battery bay, our servos, linkages, everything's pre-installed along with the motor. Try to get this out of the way here. Here's our stab. Here's our vertical stabilizer. Landing gear, rubber bands, and some hardware along with our bind plug. Here's our instructions along with the Supercub DVD, spare propeller. Here's our car charger. It's a balanced LiPo charger along with a wall adapter. And here's our LiPo battery, 1300 milliamp 3-cell. Now first things first, I like to get right out there and try to fly as soon as my plane's ready to go. So I'm going to get this battery on the charger, get her plugged in. Now, I recommend anytime that you're charging your LiPos, get yourself a LiPo guard bag. You can find them online, 10 to 20 bucks, depending on what you want to spend. Put your LiPo in there, cover it up. That'll keep it from, if it does burst into flames, it'll keep everything else from catching on fire. So, here we are with our Supercub LP. First thing I'm going to do, get everything out of the bag, and just so she sits pretty, we'll get our landing gear on, and then your struts just screw right to the box. Blink, and a boom. So we'll leave those unscrewed for now. And here's how easy your tail goes together. First, put the back of your elevator into the opening, carefully lining up the holes. That's together. Now, sliding it carefully into the tail, get it gently pressed into place and lined up. Then carefully, it's going to take a little pressure, you have to get your tail wheel into the locked position. Now it's ready to screw together. Now you'll feel, if you keep your hands on that vertical stabilizer, you'll feel when it pulls snug. You don't want to go any further than that, because you will strip the threads right out of the plastic. And there she is. Well, I've got it on its back. We'll get the landing struts screwed into place. Okay, now that we're all screwed together with the landing gear, we'll put the clevis and control arm together. Now, for new pilots, you want to be way out here towards the tip. And why is because this is going to give it limited throw. But being as I've flown these a few times, I'm going to go right up to the closest in point, which is going to be your higher performance. It's going to give it a maximum amount of throw. And the same thing on this other side here. I'll flip it around so you can see. Same thing goes for your rudder. Now this is a 3-channel airplane. That means you have your motor, you have elevator, and rudder. That's it. There's no ailerons. It relies on the dihedral. If you look at the plane, it's higher on the wing tips. The wing rather is higher. So it's going to always come back to center, kind of like a parachute. Now we want to take our bind plug and plug it into the battery and bind port on this receiver. So we'll get our bind plug put in. And now, that 3-cell isn't quite done charging, So I'm going to get one of my other batteries, just a spare I keep laying around. And first, we want to power up our airplane. Then, having already set my Spectrum transmitter to the desired model, we're going to press the bind button and then turn it on, and we're going to wait. Now, the plane is bound. We can remove the bind plug. We'll just check everything out here real quick. We've got elevator, we've got rudder, and we've got juice. So as soon as our battery is ready, we'll be ready to fly. Now, super tip of the day. Don't ever take and turn your transmitter off before turning off the power to your plane or removing the battery. Well, now that we're all bound up, we can go ahead and put our wing on. We just want to cradle the wing in there and kind of look down the plane. You'll know where it's on center. If you really want to get crazy, you can measure from the very farthest point back on the fuselage to either wing if you're worried about square. But this type of model, you're pretty good doing it by eye. Now we'll get our rubber band set. Alright, now we've just got a couple more screws to put in. Those go right here into the same battery box. Got their own holes, and that holds your wing struts in. Well, there you have it, folks. This is your finished Supercub LP. Well, see how she flies. I'm going to have to throw her because the grass is a little too tall here at the field. Definitely has substantially more juice than the original Supercub. Now, for a little 3-channel plane, it performs pretty well. Right now, I'm on a windy day, flying at about half stick. It's a scale little flyer. I do like that it's got, I'd say, almost 30% more power maybe than the original Supercub with that lithium polymer battery pack. The wind's at our back right now, so I kind of have to fight it in.
Three minutes.
Alright, I'm going to try to land it. Now we bounced in, but I expected to do that with these tiny wheels. As long as you're not slamming it in the ground, bouncing around like that's not going to hurt this Z-foam construction. All in all, I like it. Only things that I would change as far as out of the box is maybe make this battery bay a little bit bigger. Other than that, it flies really well. I definitely like the fact that it's better than the original Supercub as far as power and longevity of flight time. We'll have to see. I'm just doing this short flight for you guys. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. We're going to be doing some mods next week.